How does the decentralization of logistics operations with power rooted in their interconnected networks complicate organizing efforts? What strategies might unions deploy to overcome the challenges posed by geographical dispersion of logistics facilities? I know you guys had a whole interesting article about Riverside and the Inland Empire recently that I was like, oh wow, I didn't know there was this many facilities in Southern California.
Yeah, I mean it's a difficult question. One, I mean, I'll say two things, and then Scott, maybe you can add to it. Um, One is I think that it behooves the labor movement to have an understanding of the differentiated facilities within each of these distribution networks, and what place they occupy within the overall system, and to what extent labor organizing can actually disrupt those operations. So Amazon fulfillment centers, people know about them. They give public tours of them. You can sign up for one. I did the other day. It was pretty impressive. They really want to focus on the fulfillment centers as where the magic happens, right?
Kind of modern marvels almost, it sounds like.
There are a lot of modern marvels. I mean, in addition to the Kiva robots, they've got these huge robo-stow arms and automated picking technologies. They're pretty amazing to behold. Um, and I think that there are good reasons for thinking that those should be the targets. But if you just look at Amazon's fulfillment network, they build in a lot of redundancy there. And so, I toured a 3 million square foot fulfillment center up in Arlington, Washington. Absolutely massive. And I think that they had the capacity to be pumping out a million packages a day,
Insane.
a day or a week. I forget what the
What
number
how
was,
much of an
but
area does that serve when you say something like that? How big of an area are you serving with a million packages a day?
so this is the other thing about fulfillment centers. Amazon has engaged in a regionalization strategy for the last couple of years, wherein they're trying to do much more local fulfillment, so that you could, you would get a package from your local fulfillment center rather than
Same day.
having it shipped from across the other side of the country, right? But before that, the ratio of local to distance fulfillment was about 60/40, which
Mhm.
is to say that Amazon's not going to hesitate. Like, if you're a Prime member, their number one goal is to meet existing demand, right? And so if you order some obscure thing that's only in a fulfillment center across the country, they're going to fulfill that. They're going to put that thing on a plane. They're going to take a loss on the distribution, and they're going to get it to you in 2 days. And they want to do that because they want to be Amazon. They want to be known as the company that does that kind of thing. Um, but that makes it very difficult, again, from a labor organizing perspective. If they're willing to do that long distance fulfillment, if you close a fulfillment center in any given place, they're going to reroute fulfillment to their existing network of 200 plus fulfillment centers, and continue to operate as if nothing's happened. So that's an example where the prospects of organizing um, are really bleak. It's really difficult to imagine wide scale fulfillment center organizing for that reason. That being said, there are other facilities in the network: inbound cross docks, sortation centers. The Teamsters have a number of active campaigns, public campaigns at delivery stations, and so part of, I think, the response is just to say you have to know the facilities to be able to organize the company effectively.
Mhm.
Right. And just to give a sense of how quickly Amazon evolves to meet these challenges, like Ben cited that 60/40 figure, since Amazon really started pushing this regionalization initiative several years ago. I mean, the latest figures they've released are now that 78% of orders are fulfilled within a region. So you only have 22% that are having to go on very expensive air shipments in order to be fulfilled in time. So that's like a huge leap in a very short amount of time. And it's very kind of like, it's hard to wrap your head around it. At the same time, like, I think there's two points of entry that are interesting. I mean, Ben mentioned one of them, which there are different types of facilities, and there are very active organizing campaigns happening at some of these facilities. The last mile delivery stations, they are concentrated. the geography of how they're sited is like they need to be close to Amazon's prime customer base. Where is Amazon's prime customer base located? They're located in major metropolitan centers. They're located in denser areas with higher income, and they need to locate these last mile facilities in these areas. So you have a little bit of a countervailing tendency there, where even though these aren't employing thousands of workers, they're employing maybe a couple hundred workers sorting the packages to go in the trucks, and then employing another several hundred workers via third-party subcontractors, which is a whole other thing we can get into, to deliver them. They're more concentrated in areas where the conditions for labor organizing are more favorable, where the employment markets are tighter, where there's higher general union density, and we're seeing that. I mean, this has been a major year for Amazon organizing. We should not, we haven't solved the problem, but it's a huge momentum year. I mean, there are now more than 7 delivery station facilities with units that have demanded recognition following the CMEX process. The company has not filed an RM petition in response. The Amazon is legally bound to bargain with these units. This is a big deal, and it's spreading. At the same time, we always have to go back to the question that you put in your introduction, which is like, where's the actual disruptive power? And so these last mile delivery stations, there is a good deal of redundancy. There is the ability to move around them to some degree. You have to have a market-wide strategy that covers that whole area, and that's what the Teamsters Union is doing, is looking at a long-term perspective to organize that way. So there's different types of facilities, but then there's different roles within facilities, and the technology roles, the roles that are opened up in order to maintain automation and technology, open up a whole new area to look into that we could get into deeper.